Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you saw the title of this video, I'm going to be reviewing the AirPods 4. I've had these AirPods for almost a year now, and I wanted to do a in-depth review for anybody who's looking to buy these and not ready to splurge on the Pro version. This is going to be an honest, no fluff review. I'm going to be telling you guys the good, the bad, and whether they're actually worth the money. So let's get into the video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So as a disclaimer, I'm someone who's not super into tech. I do have a lot of Apple products and I use a lot of tech on a daily basis, but I don't go out of my way to purchase all the new and latest things. If you're someone like me who's not super tech savvy but just likes having reliable electronics, then I would say that Apple is a really good brand to be purchasing because all of their electronics are pretty straightforward to use. There's so many tutorials available online and you can use them on a daily basis. So I have the iPhone, I have a MacBook Air, and I have the AirPods. And recently I've been using the iPad, and I have to say all of these products together have increased my productivity. I used them a lot when I was a student, and I have nothing bad to say about Apple. I will continuously keep buying their products, and they've really evolved over time. So first, let's talk about the design. So if you look at the AirPods, this is the case. So for comparison, these are the first ever AirPods that came out, and this is the new one. So side by side, you can see, I don't know if it's gonna focus. Side by side, you can see the different shape. And I've noticed that the AirPods 4, it feels like the perfect middle ground between the base model and the Pro version. They're slightly shorter. So if you have the Pros, you'll notice that they're slightly shorter. So the actual AirPods themselves, so this is the actual AirPod. And I've noticed that it's more contoured and it's a better fit when I put it in my ear. I've noticed that it actually sits in there, and if I'm running, if I'm working out, it doesn't gradually slip out like the older version does. And another thing is that they're actually comfortable to wear for a long period of time. I've noticed that with the old one, when I would have it in my ear, I was using this a lot when it was the pandemic and I had a lot of online classes. I noticed that it would get really uncomfortable if I was wearing them for a longer period of time. So if I had a morning full of classes, it would just feel really uncomfortable, especially this elongated part. It would kind of hurt my ear. Here, let me show you guys a side by side again. So if you look at them side by side, you'll notice that the AirPods 4, it's a shorter fit, it's more comfortable, and the shape here, you can see that it's a more contoured fit compared to this one that just doesn't feel right when you put it in your ear. With the AirPods 4, I noticed that it would never fall out of my ear, no matter if I'm running, if I have a hat on, it would actually just stay put, which I really like. My older ones, I would be really worried about these ones, especially if I was commuting somewhere. If I was traveling with these, I'd be really worried that it would actually fall out of my ear and I wouldn't even notice that it was gone. I've also noticed that these ones stay cleaner, and they're also a lot easier to clean because of the actual design of the AirPods compared to my old ones, which were harder to clean. I've noticed the Find My precision tracking is a lot better because AirPods are so tiny, and if you travel often, you might leave it on a hotel bed, and if your sheets are white, the AirPods kind of disappear into your sheets. And if you're someone who misplaces these a lot, you don't have a case on them, you'll notice that you're always scrambling looking for your AirPods. So I really like the Find My precision tracking. It's pretty good. So next up, let's talk about sound. I have to say I was pleasantly surprised by how good the sound quality is on the AirPods 4 compared to my first AirPods here. It sounds like the artist is in your ear. It's a lot richer and deeper, and it's also a lot more balanced. The vocals sound super crisp, so even if you're listening to a podcast, it actually sounds more balanced in your ear, whereas this one just felt like it just felt like the noise was too loud. I read that this comes with the adaptive EQ, and it's pretty noticeable. That basically means that it auto-tunes to your ear shape and your environment. I've noticed that whether I'm on a flight, whether I'm walking around downtown, or I'm doing work, or I'm taking a meeting, the sound just automatically adjust. I wouldn't say that it outbeats the AirPods Pro in terms of the noise cancellation feature, but the passive isolation I would say has improved a lot with the AirPods 4 compared to my first AirPods. Okay, so next let's talk about battery and charging. The battery life for the AirPods 4 has been pretty good, I would say. I get around 5 to 6 hours per charge, which is much better than the first AirPods. It's pretty nice if you're going to be using them for your commute, if you're going to be using them during the workday. They do last last throughout long meetings. The only thing is you would have to charge these if you need them for longer than 5 to 6 hours. And it also supports MagSafe charging if that's something that's of importance to you. But after using them almost daily for pretty much a year now, I would say that the battery has degraded a little bit. I would say that I get maybe 10 to 15 minutes less playback per charge, but that's expected with daily use. Okay, so next up, let's talk about the features and connectivity. And this is where Apple flexes its ecosystem power. I love how fast everything connects. The H2 chip makes everything instant. As soon as you open the lid, your phone will detect it. That's how amazing it is. And they connect really quickly. I've never had issues with connecting my AirPods, and if I'm using my phone and my laptop, it would know which device to switch the sound to, so I really like that. There's also the adaptive audio feature on these AirPods, and that basically merges transparency and noise control modes automatically depending on where you are. So if say that you're crossing a street, it'll open up, and if you're in a quiet cafe, it tunes out the noise. And my most favorite feature of the AirPods 4 definitely has to be the spatial audio. I listen to different genres of music, so I really love the head tracking, and it honestly feels magical, especially if you listen to different genres of music. If you're lying down on your side, you can hear it. You can hear the sound move around, and it just feels like such an immersive experience. And I have to say that's my favorite feature with these AirPods compared to my old AirPods. Regular Spotify sessions sound cinematic, and I have to say that there's some artists who I wouldn't go and listen to live, honestly, because I can just listen to them on Spotify using my AirPods and it sounds even better. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about the downsides and what I don't like about the AirPods 4. Okay, so the very first thing I would have to say is the price creep. Apple products are not cheap, as we all know. For the features that come along with the AirPods 4, you're basically halfway to the AirPods Pro. There's no silicone tips with the AirPods 4, so you can see here. So if you don't have a standard ear shape, or your AirPods just have a hard time staying in your ear, that could be a deal breaker. And I know a lot of people like these silicone tips because they fit more comfortably in your ear. Another thing I don't like about the AirPods 4 is the microphone quality. I've been on a lot of FaceTime calls and audio calls outside or even inside my bedroom, and the person I'm on the phone with will tell me it sounds like your voice is echoing, or it sounds like you're so far away, or it sounds like you're muffled, and that's something that I don't really like. I'm someone who takes a lot of meetings during the day. I prefer if the sound quality was good so I can just use my AirPods instead of having to play everything out loud. And another thing I don't like is how easily the case scuffs. So you can see there, I take pretty good care of my electronics, but you can see that it scuffs pretty easily, and I wish that it was more of a durable finish. And I know I could just get a case, but I just like how the AirPods case looks, and I would prefer if it didn't scuff that easily. However, I would say that I really love this product. I use them every single day. I bring them with me everywhere I go, and they really become a part of my daily routine. I take them with me when I'm working out. I use them during my commute. I use them to listen to audiobooks. I take phone calls with these. Also just love how they're the perfect balance between performance, portability, and simplicity. And also compared to the very first AirPods that were pretty much on their last leg before I got these ones, the difference is night and day. The sound, the fit, and the features, especially the spatial audio, I love. And it's evolved so much that going back now feels impossible. I can't believe I ever had AirPods that didn't have the spatial audio. So finally, I would say that if you're someone who's pretty deep into the Apple ecosystem like I am, and you just want AirPods that work flawlessly and don't want to splurge on the Pro model just yet, these are 100% worth it. But if you already have the AirPods 3 or Pros, you can just hold off until the next generation comes out. Anyway, that brings me to the end of this video. That is my honest review of the AirPods 4 after using them for an entire year. If you found this video helpful, if you're thinking about buying the AirPods 4 and this video helped you, if you're thinking of buying more Apple products and that's how you found my video, then I hope this is helpful. And again, I'm not a tech expert. I'm not someone who uses a ton of tech. I just use my regular every single day Apple products, and this is one of them. So I want to make a video for anyone who's looking to buy these. So I really hope that this video was helpful, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.